could I have your attention, please? My name's Marty Akins, I'm the chairman. This is my vice chairman, Mr. Chin, Mr. Himmel, Miss Barry, Mr. O'Brien, Miss LeMay in back. This is our clerk, Mrs. Griffin, behind me, Director of Inspectional Services, Mr. Conlon. If you got a cell phone, could you please put it on vibrate or silent, not to interrupt the meeting. If you're gonna speak, please go outside. Could I have a motion to waive the minutes of the last meeting, please?
Chair, move to accept and waive the reading of the minutes for the regularly scheduled meeting of June 23, 2026.
Second.
On the motion, seeing that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Under new business, ZBA 2622, Philip Baker for finding a variance to demolish the existing front entryway, reconstruct it in the same footprint, add a second story to the right side of the dwelling, construct a mudroom in the rear of the dwelling, the premise number 182 Phillips Street. Is anyone going to testify here tonight? Please stand and raise your right hand. If anyone's going to testify, if you don't take an oath, you will not testify. So I have 4 people, 5.
Would you stand for the oath? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the matters now in here?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Baker, you have the floor.
Chairman Akins, members of the board, thank you for having me tonight. This is 182 Phipps Street. Essentially, the existing front portico is already kind of falling off the house. It's kind of dilapidated, so we're going to rebuild that. And also, the current stairs just go right up into the actual vestibule.
Yep.
So we're going to create a covered landing. That's why it's a little bit bigger than it is now. It's by about 3 feet. So the interior space is 3.5 feet by about 7. And then the exterior portion is a landing that's 3 feet deep. So that's why it's a little bit more non-conforming than it is now. And then the right-hand side is the existing 1-story we already have currently. It has a full basement or a crawl space, we're building above it. So we're not changing setbacks, we're just going straight up over the existing footprint. Essentially, the first floor is a guest bedroom and a rear mudroom right now. We're gonna make that over to the kitchen and then keep the guest bedroom. And the second floor, it's an additional primary bedroom suite. They have 2 kids right now that need more space themselves. The kids are getting bigger. And the mudroom is more utilitarian on the rear because with 2 kids, they need drop-off zone and things. So that's kind of scope. Essentially, it's rebuilding over the existing footprint and then tearing off that dilapidated vestibule and then making a new one on the front.
Only question I got, Mr. Conlon, they have crawl spaces down in, that will be checked to make sure they can carry the second floor. Okay. I have no questions.
No questions?
No questions.
Can you describe the parking, the existing parking?
Yep, so right now, all the parking is on the right-hand side in the driveway. So the driveway actually kind of goes like further into the backyard.
Okay.
So I think you can park about 4 cars, right, Sarah?
We fit 6.
Yeah.
It's 3 in our driveway, and then if you open up the gate, you can fit, that's 3 behind there.
Okay, the 3, it's tandem?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, currently right now, yeah, correct.
okay. And is there any plans to change that?
Not at the moment, no. I'm gonna keep it the way it is right now.
Okay,
We're not widening anything,
okay.
you know, that it is currently correct.
Any questions?
You set?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all set, thanks.
Thanks. You can have a seat. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor? First call, second call, third call, call it out of the hearing closed. I got a letter here from the DPW. We reviewed the above referenced project and have no comments. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? First call, second call, third call. Can I have a motion, please?
CBA 2622, Ward 2, Philip Baker, for finding and variance to demolish the existing front entryway and reconstruct in the same footprint, add a second story to the right side of the dwelling, and construct a mudroom in the rear of the dwelling on the premises numbered 182 Phipps Street, Quincy, Mass. I move to allow petition.
Second.
On the motion, I have a letter here from the counselor. He just wanted to know if there's room for the dumpster that's going in back, whatever you're doing when you work, and they don't want to interrupt the neighborhood. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Who's presenting this heavy?
Rob?
I'm sorry?
Architects, anybody looking up?
I have no architect, we don't have nobody that's coming. You have the small plan in front of you?
Yeah,
I
but
apologize for that. I didn't-
everyone's doing this,
I
the
know.
people have to see, because they don't see nothing.
I understand.
And it's just not fair to the people that are in the audience, so.
Just had,
From
no,
now on, just bring one, please, Ms. Fleming.
absolutely, yeah. Oh, Claudio Salo's here with the site plan
Oh,
itself.
Greg, that'll help. ZBA 2623, Christopher Wyatt, for a variance finding to demolish the existing garage, construct a three-story, single-family dwelling with two-car parking garage on grade in the rear of the parcel, premises number 7 Whedon Place in Quincy. Counsel, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Rob Fleming from Fleming and Fleming. I am here for 7 Whedon Place, which if you know the area, it's adjacent to the villages at Crown Colony. It's abutting that whole area of the city of Quincy. With me this evening, I do have my client, Luke Wyatt. If you have any questions for him, he's happy to answer those for you. Claudio Sala just came, as he was our surveyor for this project. Alita Alba from Chu Architects did the design for this proposed home. She was unable to be here this evening. So the existing property itself, it's on a dead-end lot, Whedon Place is, and it sort of ends right at the village of Crown Colony. The lot itself is roughly 5,000 square feet in a Residence B zoning district, presently improved by a single-family residence now occupied by Mr. Wyatt and his family. So again, this, we have an existing single family at the front of the lot. To the rear of the lot, at the end of the driveway, is a pretty good sized garage and shed. We felt that we were proposing another residence in that location. We thought it was the best because it was already accessory use structure there. We thought that was the best place. It's adjacent to the woods that it's a number of feet before you see really anything, through the woods. The villages are pretty far away. Any houses that are on the other street in the back are pretty far away as well. So this will be really isolated on this lot. No interference with neighbors and other structures right there because everything's pretty far away. So we thought that was the best placement for this proposed single-family residence. The home itself, we always want to maintain parking, so we're doing the 2 cars under with 2 levels of living area above. It's still small. You have living area, dining room, kitchen, living area. 3rd floor, which is allowed in Residence B, is 1 bedroom and 1 full bath. And I think there's a half bath on the 1st floor as well. So obviously we are requesting some relief from this board. That's why we're here. Lot size, minimum lot size per unit. You're given some relief in that respect because we have parking under the structure. So 2,700 is really what's needed. We have 2,500. That's, we have 2,500, 27 is what's required by the ordinance itself. So we're pretty close to that. We are also seeking a finding because we're basically expanding this or changing this non-conforming existing structure. So we had a community meeting back in May. This has been going on for a little while with the help of Councilor Ryan. I think there were 2 neighbors that actually had showed up, and really just questions, no real concerns. I had submitted to Kathleen a number of letters from Luke's neighbors as well in support of what he's trying to do here. If I may say, to put a little bit of a personal spin on this, I'm a family of aging parents, well into the 80s, my folks are. Luke's parents, same thing. This all sort of transpired because of that, wanting his parents, closer to him as they're aging. So this particular home will be for them. He's going to continue to reside in the existing residence, be able to have his aging parents nice and close to him to care for them. So I understand that completely because I'm where my folks are today. So, I appreciate his commitment to that. I hope the board sees that as well. It's not just to make a profit and sell, it's really just to be able to provide for family.
Well,
So
you're gonna sell it, you're not subdividing it.
I'm sorry?
You're not selling it because you're not subdividing.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's going to be all one property. But appreciate your consideration this evening. Any questions for me, I'm happy to answer.
Here's what I think. I think you should put an addition on the house and make it a two-family. I would never vote for this. You got two single-family homes on a lot. No. I have no questions because it's just, I could never vote for that, never. Two homes on a property like that, no.
But you're more amenable to,
5,000 square feet, council. It's
But
not
you're
like
more-
you got 10,000, you got 5,000 square feet, and now you want to have two houses on it.
but more amenable to a second unit
I think it's ask, I guess.
off the back of the house.
I think it's totally bizarre. Yeah, put an addition on the back, make it a two-family house. His parents can live in that, and you're all set. I know I can't vote for this. Any questions?
Excuse me. I know it's Res B, so yeah, the two-family would work. But why 3 stories? Why, you have enough parking?
I think we're just trying to maintain the parking under.
But then,
You have parking and they have 2 residents. Each floor is only 500 square feet. It's not very big. It's half of what no, it's 20, Claudia, do you have the dimensions of
Where
the,
am I doing? That was 600.
of the footprint of the,
1,200.
21 by 30.
21 by 30, there you go. So
Yeah.
600, 1,200 feet.
right, which is, as you know, the ADU,
900.
it's it's considerably less than a by right ADU.
I just wouldn't normally grant a 3-story, single-family house. Which I think is.
I'm really, my brother Ed and I, we really have to advise clients. And it's been really difficult for us because we try to anticipate concerns and things that you want or asking for before we even attend these hearings. And we look at some of the things that you've approved over the years as well. And so we question, why that, but why not this? We always question. 795 Hancock Street is one of those that I was denied a nice duplex with parking under each unit. A father was building it for his kids on Meadowbrook. I think it was almost the same night as Clay Street was approved. Clay Street, much more dangerous intersection, and this thing had parking all over the lot, a 4,300 square foot
Whoa,
lot.
whoa, whoa, I'm not going.
I'm just-
I'm not going. there.
I'm just asking where this
no.
board is coming from though sometimes, and
You got
I try to
my
understand
answer
you all,
You got my answer now. I
Yeah.
was asking you a question. Give me an answer for that. Not that there's 2 homes on one lot. We haven't done that.
And that's a 3-family, that's a 3-story.
10,000 square
My
feet.
point was, that's a 3-story building as well on Clay Street, 795 Clay Street. It's a 3-story
The 3 stories
building.
don't bother me. It's two houses on one lot.
Okay, I understand that.
But,
I understand.
yeah, so you're asking what? He's
Okay.
saying if you need it for your parents, why didn't you just put something over the garage? That's what he's asking. That was the question.
And just not suitable living area, really. To have a separate bedroom with living area, that's why he had went up to the 3 stories, which again is allowed in Residence B. It just made it more comfortable for them. You try to provide that much more for them for housing, that's all.
So they must be in pretty good shape then, if you're gonna have them go up 2
Well,
flights
he
of
already,
stairs.
that's a great point, and he already has an area of the home to put in a lift from garage to those living areas. And I think it's on the plans, but in the back of the home, it would be. I think the architect was supposed to provide.
I like the chairman's recommendation of putting addition onto the house,
Off the back.
yeah, as opposed to an additional property.
Understood.
Question for Rob Conlon. What is the size of an ADU that would,
900,
900? Okay,
yeah.
Exactly. So I would be interested in an actual 900 square foot ADU, not a 3-story house, or an addition on the existing property.
Understood, okay. Achieving that, the 900.
Single story.
Yeah, on this, in this area of the lot is more difficult. I think it obviously affects setbacks as
Okay.
one, but
I'm not in favor of a 3-story second home on the site. I would be in favor of a single story ADU or an addition,
garage with 1 level up above or no? Single level,
not committing to that.
okay.
2,400 square feet is, what you propose is way too big and not in favor of 3 stories.
Understood.
Similar comments, naturally. I've always had a hard time with 2 homes on the same lot. I
Okay,
do have a question.
yeah.
What lives in the cage in the yard?
Yeah,
So we had the cage over some garden stuff.
Oh, okay.
Cage, we ran
I thought maybe there was an amphibian living back there.
Probably some bunnies, some rabbits maybe, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
all right, counsel, I think you got your answers, so.
I would ask, as opposed to withdrawing and refiling, would the board consider continuous matter to revise just that? You know, coming off the back of the home, you know, with a second unit. Would you allow us some time to be able to get our plans together to do that and continue this maybe for a couple months? And allow us to do that? It would be helpful to us as opposed to having to refile again. You know, just basically displacing the unit.
The difference is the people don't know what's going on in the neighborhood. They don't get notified again, and they think.
And
this is what's going on.
I'll reach out to Councilor Ryan, no doubt. If I have to have a second neighborhood meeting, we're happy to do that too. Again, 2 people showed up, didn't express any concerns. He's got a lot of support from neighbors as well.
I see 3.
3 from, yes.
3 letters.
No, you got 3 signatures on one page.
Oh, there should be longer than that.
Well, that's what I got.
Oh,
I don't know, what do you think, board? You want to give him a couple of months to redo this, and he'll get in touch with the counselor, and he'll have another meeting with the neighborhood?
Would the plans have to be distributed to the neighborhood?
He'll give it to the counselor, and he'll have a meeting. He said he will have another meeting. Instead of refiling, we'll give him another meeting.
yeah, we're happy to do that. No,
We'll have a
no
meeting.
problem at all.
All right?
Yeah.
That's a good
Okay.
one, sure.
Why don't we look at September, what,
Looking at September, we have September 8th and September 22nd.
22nd? Why don't we get that done? 22nd.
Should be fine.
22.
That's fine, yeah. I got, my August is kind of last kid off to college, so August is
Yep.
where he's going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a motion, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
ZBA 2623, Ward 4, Christopher Wyatt for a variance and finding to demolish the existing garage and construct a 3-story single-family dwelling with a 2-car parking garage on grade in the rear of the parcel on the premises number 7 Whedon Place, Quincy, Mass. Move to continue the matter to September 22, 2026 at 6 o'clock.
And he's, wait a minute, and he's gonna turn it into a single family, one building, 2-family. We'll
And-
put in the end of that.
And for the purpose of the continuance is to revise the plans, have a neighborhood meeting, contact the counselor,
Yep.
ward counselor,
Yes.
and provide the board with new plans for a single-family,
Single dwelling,
single dwelling.
one dwelling adding on to his own.
I would only ask if I may,
Certainly.
would there be an objection to 3 stories? If we maintain garage underneath for some of the parking would be helpful, and 2 levels of living area above the back of the house? Would that be,
Well, you're in Res
Amenable.
B, you're in Res B, so you have,
it's allowed, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But we'll reserve until we see everything.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay. Second motion.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep, yeah.
This one?
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask Miss Barry to step out, you can stay in, Sally.
Say it again?
Barry, if you want, you can go home because there's only 2 cases left. Further on to tonight's business, ZBA 2624, Zen Zera for a finding, special permit floodplain, to convert the existing funeral home to a 3-story, 3-unit residential building with 6 parking places on the premise, 74 Elm Street. Counselor, you have the floor.
Sorry about that.
That's great, yeah.
Ms. Barry's out, Ms. Lemay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Rob Fleming again from Fleming and Fleming. Sorry to subject you to my face over 2, but, so make it quick, I guess. We do have our full team here this evening. Brian Donahue, you all know, Donahue Architects. Also Eric Bradnisi from Engineering Alliance is our engineer. We've worked on this for a pretty good period of time. There were some other renderings. We were looking for 5 units initially. Neighborhood meetings, we had a few of them with the assistance of Councilor Ash and the former Councilor Minton. All pretty receptive to it. I mean, they wanted to maintain a residential for that particular property. I think we all know it. 74 Elm Street was the former Sweeney's Funeral Home. So the neighborhood is very residential. So we thought, like everybody else did, that residential, to maintain the residential is probably the best fit. You know, we didn't want to request a lot of relief. My client didn't want to do that. He's developing across the street as well, all residential with no zoning board relief. He just wants to do things in compliance with the ordinance. So here this evening, I know you received a letter from Councilor Ash, and he had some concerns with parking. I am not here tonight requesting any relief for parking. So just wanted to get that. You know, the only thing I'm requesting from this zoning board this evening is a special permit floodplain, because it is in a floodplain. It's by the brook. Eric Bradnisi has done a tremendous job, you know, working with the peer review consultant. This has been through site plan review, so it's been reviewed by a peer review consultant. Every city department as well. We're very aware of the brook, and we want to protect the brook. And I think Eric did a fantastic job doing that with this whole design and drive into, you know, to provide, 6 parking spaces for 3 units. We think it's a great job. It does allow, the drive does allow for, in our world today, for the FedExes and Amazons to come in, you know, quickly, you know, and packages. So I think I commend my team for doing a great job. And Brian, you know, with the existing residents, it's difficult sometimes, but he did a tremendous job, designing it for nice 3 units, all 2 bedrooms as well. So we think it fits and maintains the character of the neighborhood itself.
I think it's a beautiful plan. I looked at it and it's gonna look the same, really. So
Great.
Same building, nothing's being changed on not ripping down the outside of it. The inside of it, I think you did a great job. They're,
Glad to hear that.
they're 3 baths. It come out nice, come out really nice. I think they did a good job, the architect, on that. And I think it's a perfect fit. I have no question.
I think it's a good fit for the neighborhood. I have no other questions at this point.
Yeah, myself as well, I'd rather see it remain as residential. It's a nice looking old building, so.
Really is.
For me,
I know you're not here to talk about parking, but I do have a question, so.
Sure.
What are you gonna do when people come over?
What are we gonna do when people come over?
I mean, there's never a time when people don't have guests, like where are they gonna go?
Yeah, I mean, I can only say, I mean, as you know and probably know, there is no parking on Miller Style or Elm Street.
Right,
You
that's
know,
why I'm asking, yep.
This is very close to our former parking lot and now a garage. You know, so people can certainly park in the garage and walk right down Miller Style, you know, to this residence as well. You know,
I'm
so
sorry,
that certainly is an
the
option.
new parking.
The new parking garage in our old community lot. You know.
In Quincy Center?
Yeah,
Cool.
this is walking distance from there.
I know where it is, I would never walk that, but okay.
Oh, okay.
So all right, so we're just caring about the, okay.
I mean, obviously, the drive can support some, you know, temporary, with a little coordination between the unit owners or renters as well. So a little bit of short-term parking in the driveway to be able to pull in off of Miller Style. That could be done as well.
It's 2 cars, like,
Yeah.
they can park behind. If you get 1 person coming, they could park behind the garage. So
They could, too, yeah.
there's room there.
So it's gonna be rental, not condos, is it?
I think this is gonna be rentals,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm all set, Charlie.
O'Brien?
No, I don't have any questions. I think it's a good use of the property.
Is there anyone here that'd like to speak in favor? First call, second call, third call closed. We got a letter from the DPW, they reviewed the above referenced project and have no comments. Is there anyone opposed or undecided, like to speak? First call, second call, third call, here's a letter I want to clear from the council. Johnny?
Sorry.
Richard Ash, Ward Counselor. Morning, Clerk Griffin, I apologize, I'm on vacation and unable to attend the July 14th zoning board meeting. Please read this into the record. Case number 262474 Elm Street. I held the community meeting last year on the proposal issue with to no one's surprise, is parking 6 spaces are not enough for parking for 3 units. There will be no guest parking, only 1 space per bedroom. As the board likely knows, parking across the street has been subdivided and the same owner plans to develop it. I do remain committed to trying to maintain that lot for municipal use. However, in the event I am unable to, having 6 more units at 74 Elm will be detrimental as designed. The delivery truck would have to pull on the parcel and block the other cars from entering or exiting. There's no parking on Elm, Miller Stiles, or South Street, all emergency arteries. Thank you for reading this into the record. Sincerely, Richard Ash, Esquire, Ward 2.
That'll be in the record. Make a motion, please.
Could we come up?
Yep.
Okay. ZBA 2624, Ward 2. Zinni Zera for a finding and special permit FPOD to convert the existing funeral home to a 3-unit residential dwelling with 6 parking spaces on the premises numbered 74 Elm Street, Quincy, Mass. Move to allow the petition.
Second.
On the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Nice job, nice job, guys.
Appreciate it.
Brian? Thank you, Bill.
Hey, Rob, you got 1 for 2. 1 for 2.
1.5.
Thanks for.
1.5, 1.5.
Jury Zera.
Further into tonight. ZBA 2626, Patrick Foley for variance to construct an addition on the existing structure, creating a duplex and construct a second duplex on the parcel with 10 parking spaces, in total 190 Franklin Street. Let's look around.
Good evening, sorry. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Patrick Foley. My business address is 265 Willard Street. I'm the attorney for the project here tonight. I'm joined with Brian Donahue, who's our architect, as well as Chi Man, who's our engineer. The project we're here to discuss tonight is 190 Franklin Street. Currently, right now, on this 13,750 square foot lot, is a single-family home with a garage in the back. I'm sure this board can agree that Franklin Street has certainly seen its share of development over the last 5 years. From 9 Franklin Street to the Dunkin' Donuts down the street, to the restaurant next to 9 Franklin Street, as well as the 6 townhouses that were built across the street from Dunkin' Donuts, and the 9 units that was built on the gas station on the corner of Franklin Independence Avenue. And as you go up the hill towards Braintree, a number of 3- and 4-family homes that run up there. I feel, in my opinion, our proposal tonight is a pretty modest ask compared to everything else that's going on down there. The applicant is seeking to add 3 additional units to the existing homes. It'll be 4 units total with 10 parking spots. This can provide much needed housing inventory right now in a market that surely needs it right now for people looking to buy homes. Before I turn it over to Brian, there's 2 points I want to add. The first is that we had a neighborhood meeting with Councilor Ash back in the late winter, early spring. This neighborhood meeting was well attended, and what we were able to do at that meeting was we were able to make a few corrections that the neighbors wanted before we even filed. So we were able to take care of that and not waste all their time coming up here. Also, we had planning board approval. We had 2 meetings with the planning board, and we got a positive recommendation from the department. So I'm going to have Brian just walk everybody through the architect plans.
Thank you, Counselor. For the record, my name is Brian Donahue, the principal of Donahue Architects at 21 McGrath Highway here in Cleveland. I'm really excited about this project. I'm very happy to represent Jacob's son in this endeavor. This parcel, if you're familiar with this area, is about a block up from the intersection of Independence and Franklin Street. And it's a once gracious Victorian house with a very large lot compared to the other parcels in the neighborhood. This is obviously 13,750 square feet. The house is in a little bit of disrepair. The previous owner, Mr. Sun, bought this at the end of last year. So he's always had the plan to move forward with a small development on the lot. So he hasn't really done much to improve the interior or exterior of the house. So it's pretty much in the condition that it was for the previous owner. The unusual part of this lot is that it does face two streets. As you can see on the existing condition plan, Franklin Street at the bottom and Audrey Street, which is a dead end that brings one in from the back streets in the neighborhood. So I'll present what we're proposing for this lot, but the neighborhood meetings that we had two buildings situated. The proposal is for an addition to the existing house, and I wanted to clarify, there was the initial advertisement talked about demolishing the existing house. That's never been the intent. The demolishing that we're doing is for the garage, which is basically in the lower left there, it's falling down. So that's the only demolition that's going on. So we're gonna hopefully lovingly restore the existing Victorian, add to it, and then add a duplex to the back of the site. One thing that's really stood out to me when I first looked at this site is there's a extremely large and beautiful Japanese maple tree, which is on the eastern property line, represented by that tree insignia. I think that it's very important that we make the point that we are keeping that tree as part of this development. I wouldn't be involved with this if we were taking that tree down. So Jacob has committed himself to keeping the tree, pruning it, making sure it stays alive and in good shape. So, let me run through. So these are pretty much the existing plans of the existing house. So this site plan represents what our plan is. So the lower left of the existing site is the existing house, which will be renovated and restored. All the siding will be changed, new windows, roofing. The roof line is going to change slightly, which I'll show you in the elevations. And then we're adding 20 feet to that, pruning the tree. We've had arborists to the site, so we're making all the efforts in the world we can to keep that tree. And the two parking spaces that are basically under it will be pervious pavers, and it won't be paving. So we've got a plan in place to make sure that we save that tree, and it's very important to Jacob and to all of us. So what we've done is we've added the two duplex units in the back, added to the first unit in the front, and for a total of 4 units. The relief we're seeking is a lot area per dwelling unit. We're a little bit under the requirement. Floor area ratio, we're at 0.6. The bylaw says 0.4. So we have a little more square footage than is allowed by the bylaw. So this is the, I'm having trouble manipulating this. This is the floor plan to the duplex in the rear. So this 2-bedroom with a home office on the first floor, 2-car garage. So there's 2-car parking for those 2 units, 4 spaces on the exterior, and actually 6 spaces outside for a total of 10. So the top left elevation is the existing house with the addition. So we've taken the Victorian character of the existing house, expanded it to the addition. We've played with color a little bit to make it a little bit distinctive and interesting. And we're hoping that massing is such with the dormer and the turret on the left, we're not losing the character of the house. So the two-unit duplex on the rear of the site will be basically 3 stories, but it's 2.5 because the top floor is kind of built into the roof, dormer and so forth, to help bring the scale down. Again, we're using cues from the existing house with the roof shapes and bays and the Victorian material palette for this particular style. And that is what our plan is. I want to go back to the site plan for just 1 minute.
You have there's 3 bedrooms in the front, and the back are 2 bedrooms each, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I should have mentioned
And it's
that.
3.5 baths?
Yes.
I thought it was 2 and 2, not,
No, it's 2 and 2 in the back. The
I mean,
front
it was
have
4
3
units
bedrooms.
total, right?
4 units total.
Yeah. 2 trees.
Gotcha,
Two
gotcha,
trees.
gotcha, gotcha.
Two,
Yeah.
two,
2 3-bedrooms and 2 2-bedrooms. And the ones in the front have 3.5 baths. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted
Yeah, I like that.
I wanted to go back to the reason that we made the modifications after the neighborhood meeting. We originally had the 2 units in the back kind of facing Audrey Street as a front door. And we had a gate and a walkway, and that was basically the sort of the pedestrian entry. We got some response from the neighborhood on that because they thought that people would be parking there, visiting and so forth, and it would be complicated in terms of circulation and access to the site. So we basically about faced it. Those are now backyards and outdoor space for the 2 units. And there will be a new fence along there to keep the privacy from people coming in, cutting through, walking to the T, walking to the town. So, so the top left image is that view from Audrey Street. So we have a fence there, but that's basically outdoor space for those particular 2 units. We're maintaining required distances from the building for site circulation. The cars should be able to move in and out of the garages without any issue. As you can see from the top right and the top left, there's more than enough space to negotiate vehicles through there. And the bottom right is a rendering from Franklin Street coming up. So we think it's a great project. We think it's added some needed housing to the neighborhood. We're saving an elegant old Victorian and bringing it up to the new century. We're saving a very important maple tree along the way, which is very important to all of us. And we think it's a great project. So happy to answer any questions. If you, Chi Man is here.
I looked at the plans overall. I think you did a good job. And there is room to negotiate in that area there. And, it's not that big of an ask. I like the way you laid it out with the 2 bedrooms on the Audrey side. I think you did a really nice job.
Thank you.
I'd just like to see a landscape plan before you build it.
I do have that.
Well, I kind of saw it what was there, but I don't know if that's just a render and a drawing or it's real. You could give that to Mr. Conlon before you get your permits.
This is,
That's me, Brian.
pardon?
Can you show me that landscape plan?
Yes, it should have been, it wasn't in the original submittal.
That should be the quote.
It should be.
I could resubmit the portal for if you want.
Oh, I'll check.
Yeah.
So this was prepared by Dave Hawk, landscape architect that we do a lot of work
No,
with.
that's fine. I know you do nice work. I'm not worried about that. Just want to put it on the record, that's all.
Sure.
I agree, it's a very nice plan. I think it'll add to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
And use the housing over there. Plenty of other structures over there. This is nicely done.
Thank you.
I agree, although I'm a little concerned in the activity room in the attic, there's a full bath. What's the reason for that? Is that,
Are we talking
Especially when
about?
the other one has
I
a
think
bedroom.
each one, third floor had a bath on it.
But the other one
That's
has a
why-
bedroom, so it has a bedroom with a full
No,
bath,
I
and
know,
then
I
the
know.
one
Yeah.
next to it's supposed to be a giant.
Yeah, on the
activity
new
room.
addition, it's a
It's like an
bedroom. So
activity
it's part of
room.
the 3-bedroom.
That's
On the
Okay.
existing house,
Yeah.
that's just, we're just finishing the attic space. It doesn't really, it's no intention to make that a bedroom. We've already got 3 bedrooms.
So there's already a full bath there?
No,
So you're
it's not,
adding a
it's
full bath
raw
to a
space
room
right
that
now.
you're just gonna keep empty?
Well, it's space that the family could use. If they have kids, it can be a playroom, it can
Playroom,
be a guest room, whatever the case may be. It's a, that's a deal breaker, that's fine. We don't really, I mean, it's just the space is
No, I'm
there.
curious.
You might as well finish it. I don't think any more people will be living there than would be.
You put a half bath up there, I guess, right? You feel better?
Yep.
Yeah,
They have
half bath up there instead of full bath.
Sure.
That way there, it wouldn't be, someone has to, the kids are playing, they got a bathroom, they're not gonna tramp up and down the stairs. Yeah,
I'm good, thank you. Nice job, Ray.
Thank you.
thank you, Brian. Is there
Looks
anyone
real
who wants
nice.
to speak in favor? First call, second call, third call closed. All right,
Glad you guys are keeping that beautiful tree too. That's a nice touch.
yeah, it is huge. They're working with the DPW and they've worked with planning and they have no other comments. Is there anyone opposed or undecided?
I have a question.
Yep, come up to the mic, please, because I got a recorder going on. We want to hear every word you say.
So, there,
Name and address for the record.
it's 217 Kendrick,
Name?
Marie Thibault.
Okay, you're up.
So you did say there was going to be, there's not going to be a lot of on-street parking, right?
No.
It'll be a lot of off-street parking?
All off.
I mean, all off-street parking is what I mean. Okay,
10
because we
10
have,
spaces.
we have the building down the street,
Right.
that who knows what's going to happen with that.
Someone parks in there, they'll be towed anyway.
Oh, okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure of
Yeah.
that, that's all.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Welcome. Anyone else? Opposed or undecided? Third call, I'll have the hearing closed. I'll be voting in favor.
In favor.
Who's this from?
Your letter.
Oh, another letter from Mr. Ash. Could put that in the record.
Richard Ash, Councilor, Ward 2. Good evening, Clerk Griffin. I apologize. I'm on vacation, July 14th zoning. Please read this into the record. Case number 2626-190 Franklin Street. Please, I held a community meeting on this proposal in February. Neighbors raised some concerns about parking, keeping cars on the property, mitigating any vehicle access, parking in Audrey or Trescott, maintaining vegetation and privacy with neighbors' property and water drainage. The owners provided requisite information on the drainage and the Cultec system suggested by the neighbors made to take pedestrian access and walking path out from Audrey, fence off the back of the structure housing unit 3 and 4, but maintain an outdoor front yard feel on Audrey. Further commentary would be 5 ways to add parking spots and reduce the number of bedrooms. I'd like to thank this project team for listening to neighbors and revising the proposal to address most of these issues. Now as revised, there is no walkway from Audrey. There's a new white fence without any entry to the building. Other revisions including 1 additional parking space and making each unit 2 bedrooms instead of 3. At the planning board, we did discuss snow storage. I think the topic could be fleshed out more here as well. Everyone is happy that the Japanese maple tree will remain. Thank you for reading this into the record and to the board and raising the concerns and asking the requisite questions. Sincerely, Richard C. Ash, Esquire, City Council, Ward 2.
Thank you. I'll be voting in favor.
I'm in favor as well.
In favor.
In favor.
Likewise.
Could I have a motion, please?
CBA 2626, Ward 2, Patrick Foley, for a variance to construct an addition to the existing structure, creating a duplex and construct a second duplex on the parcel with 10 parking spaces in total on the premises numbered 190 Franklin Street, Quincy, Mass. Move to accept the proposal subject to a modification to the construction plan to allow for 1/2 baths on the 3rd floor.
Second.
On the motion, also a landscape plan.
I'm going to double check the board.
I know, I just want to make sure it's in.
As well as submission of our
Yeah,
landscape.
landscape. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
6:44.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you, adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody.